This is Let's Talk Teens, a parenting podcast sharing tips on raising amazing teenagers. We are both certified life coaches that have worked with teenagers as coaches, mentors, and teachers. We are sharing what we have found to work best when dealing with teens and tough issues. This is Abbi and Cheree, Let's Talk Teens, episode 73, Walking Your Teen Through a Panic Attack.
Okay, Abby, I'm excited about this one because I just feel like so many teens, so many of my clients are having panic attacks. I feel like it's just adults are having more panic attacks. And sometimes as an adult, when we see our teen going through that, we just feel helpless. We don't even know what to do to help them. And we hate seeing it, right? And then sometimes we try to ignore it because we're like, okay, maybe this is just a phase or they're getting attention, or we can have so many thoughts about it. But I just think having knowledge of how to help your teen when they're in it, or yourself, or another adult, or a child, is so helpful in today's age. But before we even get into helping them, I just think it's really important to remember a few things about panic attacks. They are clues. They're clues for what's going on in our body, what's going on in our life, where we are mentally and emotionally. Panic attacks are clues that our nervous system is dysregulated. It's just a clue. And so our brain wants to go to like, this is so bad. We're having a panic attack. And I like to take the approach of this is a really painful clue. It is a clue though. And so let's figure out what's going on so we can figure out what needs to change and be different. It's just a really big clue. And usually panic attacks are from stress that builds and emotions that are unaddressed, that I explain it as like, that volcano that's just like building and building and building and building, and then it ruptures, right? And that's that panic attack. And so if we realize what it is, then we can maybe get to that before it happens. But let's start with what if your teen is in a panic attack, if they're fully in a panic attack, you see that they're having a panic attack, that might look like their breathing really changes. They're like, you can't console them. Maybe their whole body's shaking. Maybe they're like, oh my gosh, my chest. Like they're just really experiencing this panic attack that you're seeing in a physical way. And I think the very first thing to do is just let your teen know that you're here. You're like, I'm here and you are safe. Our nervous system, for it to be regulated, first just needs to hear like, you're safe. You're safe. So saying like, I'm here and you're safe.
I was thinking from, the experiences that I've had with this and watching other people with this, right? Sometimes that you're safe is like grabbing their hand, right? And saying, I'm here with you. You're safe. And sometimes they don't want to be touched, right? And like, I think that's part of the trickiness of this, of how do I figure out how to convey that to you? But I love like literally saying, I'm here and you're safe. What would you want me to hold your hand? Do you want a hug? Do
Yes.
you want, how about I just sit here by you, right?
Yeah.
They might want you
What
to
do you,
stroke their hair, right? Or like
yeah.
something.
Yeah. What do you need most? Or what's, like, do you want me to hold you? Do you like, and ask them, because when you're in a panic attack, you might not know what you need most. You're just like, but
Your
when
brain
you
might be
start
a little
asking,
like frazzled. Like,
yeah. But if you're asking them, like, do you want me to hold your hand? Do you want me to hug you? Do you just want me to sit here? They're probably going to be able to or answer you more if you're throwing out the ideas. So I
mhm.
love that. Like, I'm here, you're safe. And like, can I hold your hand? Do you want me to hug you? Can I rub your, like stroke your hair, like whatever. I think that is so good to ask them. Number two is help them change their breathing, because usually the
Yes.
breathing is like so dysregulated, right? And it's just, and
Super
then
shallow.
shallow, and then we're not getting enough oxygen up to our brain, which just keeps the panic in the brain going. So really teaching them to breathe and just be, okay, we're going to do some breathing here. Let's just take a deep breath in. Let's breathe out. And box breathing is my favorite. And in that moment, you might not be able to say to them, okay, do some box breathing unless they're familiar. But box
Just like
breathing,
breathe in. Yeah.
breathe in and you do it for like 4 counts, and then you breathe out for 4 counts, and then you breathe in for 4 counts, and you breathe out for 4 counts. And it's just a box, right? But just, you can just say that, okay, let's just breathe in. Okay, slow, and like slow your breath. Like you're telling them what to do, because right at that moment, their brain is in full, like a bear is chasing me mode. And so it's telling them little things like, hey, breathe in, breathe out. So really helping them breathe is so important. I think it's also really important. The fourth one I thought of is just tell them, like, this is a panic attack. Don't worry, it will pass.
I love that, because what's happening in the mind of the person going through the panic attack is I'm not okay. It might even be like, I'm going to die, or I don't know how this is going to work, or, it's all those great unknowns, right? And so
Mm.
bringing them back physically, right, into their body of it, guess what? You're here with me. You're safe. Nothing's happening to you. We can figure this out, right? And like, it will pass. That is like so powerful because in that moment, that person's brain is not thinking that this will
Yeah.
pass. They are literally thinking, this is forever and I'm never going to fix this. And so, if you can get them in their body, whether you're touching them or helping them breathe or you've got them grounded, right?
Yeah.
That all sends that signal of, oh, wait, I'm actually not being chased by a bear right now. Like I'm okay. I'm in my room. I'm sitting on the couch, right?
Exactly. And you brought up one that is number four, and that's really getting them grounded. And grounding looks like this. It's using your senses. It's having them pay attention to something outside of their body. So it's like, okay, like do you feel your feet on the ground? Do you feel like just put your feet on the ground and then just like think about like what would it feel like if you were walking in soil right now? Or look at that bird over there. Do you hear that bird and do you see that red bird? And you're helping them use their senses to distract their brain from the like complete meltdown that they're having, right? Because their panic is coming from thoughts just swirling in their head and it's a buildup. It's a buildup, so it's tons and tons and tons of big emotion. And so it's helping them redirect their attention so that their breathing can slow down, so that their body can start, they can come back into their body. And that's that grounding of what senses can you use to help them pay attention to what's around them. Okay, I think the next one is another one you can use is just teaching them how to relax their muscles. And this is one of my favorite ones to do. And it's just saying, okay, like I want you to think about your toes and like notice how tense they are. Now, like, what does it feel like when they relax? Okay, now let's do that with your foot. Like it's really tense. Okay, now relax your foot. Okay, your ankles. And you just start at your feet and you go all the way up their body. And you're just being like, okay, it's so tense. Okay, now relax it. And it's just this slowly calming the nervous system down, slowly getting back into this state of rest or digest or like just calm homeostasis. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's just by helping them focus on their body part and relaxing their muscles, but like saying the body part and saying like, oh, do you feel how tight that is and tense? Okay, what does it now feel like when you relax it?
Yeah.
Helping them change their muscles in their body. Now, many of you might argue this one, and I promise it's one of the most important ones you can possibly do. It just feels super uncomfortable. And that's number six, and that is allow, allow, allow. Allow this panic attack. What we resist persists. What we allow is going to actually, that's how our body lets go of it when we allow emotion. So it's saying, oh my gosh, I know you're feeling panic. I want you to just like actually let yourself feel panic right now. Like let yourself feel this like just stress and fear and just let it be there and just be like, yeah, it feels horrible. And I would totally validate it. This is like the worst. And again, we're gonna come back to it. This is gonna pass, but right now I just want you to just notice what your body's feeling. Like notice what you're feeling. Like notice that anxious anxiety that's going on and let's just notice it and be like, okay, we're just going to let it be here for a few more minutes. And it's going to go away really soon, but right now we're just going to let it be here. We're going to say hi to it. We're going to say, "Hey, hey friend, you're not my favorite friend, but I see that you're here. And this is what panic feels like. And this isn't going to last forever, but we're just going to let it be here." Which sounds so counterintuitive to what our brain wants, right?
Hmm.
But the more we run from it, the more it is that feeling of a bear chasing us and it is that like resistance. And so it's just that's when we start feeling anxious or anxiety about our anxiety or panic about our panic.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger and bigger.
I've heard it called the second arrow, right? The first arrow is the panic attack, right? That you're like, this sucks. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to be crying. I don't want to be so stressed about school or my family or my friends or this. But the second arrow is when we're like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? What have I done to deserve this? Or, and we inflict that worry on ourselves and we think about it, we ruminate on it. And my experience has been, I haven't had a lot of panic attacks in my life, but I have had a couple. And just saying out loud, oh, I'm like having a real panic attack, like a
Mhm.
true blue real one. Not like sometimes we joke and say, oh, I'm having a panic attack right now, but like literally saying to myself, oh, I'm going into a panic attack. I can't even tell you how freeing that is to just
It
sit
is.
there and go, okay, well, like I remember because I had one when I was pregnant with my last baby, and I remember I was sitting on my bed and I was like, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Right? Like as you're trying to figure this out. And then I was like, oh, I'm having like a panic attack. And like, then I was like, okay, I'm safe on my bed and I can have a panic attack. Like, this is a good place to
Mhm.
have a panic attack, right? And that was so freeing. Like, instantly, all of a sudden, the stakes were down. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, like, I can do this. Like, I don't want to do this, but I can do this.
That allowing and the science number behind that is that allowing and naming it and saying this is a panic attack decreases the vibrations and the intensity in your body by 50%. So just by half, just by like being like, oh yeah, this is a panic attack and this feels horrible. But now my brain knows what I'm dealing with, right? And then it knows it's not gonna last forever. And it's like, okay, I hate this and I know it. And I think it's huge that just letting it be there, and it's so hard and it's so important, so valid.
And what I love about all the tips that you shared, Cheree, is we don't have to wait for that volcano to explode. Like if you are seeing in yourself or in your youth that, oh, I think that fuse is gonna pop, right?
Hmm.
You can say, hey, you and I were on a walk. Like, let's go on a walk right now, right? Because that's gonna force some deeper breathing. That's gonna force some like sensory things. You can say, you know what? Let's sit down. Or, hey, can I hug you right now? Right? We can start
Mm.
to use some of these before that fuse just bursts.
I am so glad you said that because I have here in my notes, like we wanted to talk about this, letting emotions out before they explode.
Hmm.
And all the things you talked about, going for a walk, stretching, holding them, letting them draw if they love to play the piano or some musical instrument or sing, like, or something with music, right? Journaling, going to the gym, talking about it and be like, hey, do you want to talk about this? Because we really want to teach our teens how to process their emotions before it does get to the volcano level.
Hmm.
But once it does, now you know how to calm it down. And then maybe moving forward, be like, okay, we need to probably do a little bit more work with processing our emotions because those panic attacks come when our nervous system is dysregulated, which often comes from a buildup of emotions we haven't processed.
Hmm.
We haven't talked about, we haven't dealt with, we haven't let it out of our body and it's just built and built and built. Just a few little warning signs with panic attacks that there's been a lot of research done of things just to like really avoid during a panic attack. And I think this is just important as a parent to know this is if your child is having a lot of panic attacks or is in a panic attack, some of the worst things for them would be caffeine. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
Nicotine, alcohol, like it just makes it so much worse. Is like if you notice like your teen is having a lot of panic attacks and they're, a frequent energy drinker, that might need to change. That actually could be creating more of the panic attacks. Their body, they have so much emotion and then their body is not
Is
doing well.
stimulated, right?
Uh-huh. It is that
Panic
stimulation.
attacks are telling me I better be able to run right now. So all of a sudden my heart
Yeah.
is racing, all those. And then if I've had caffeine, my heart's already going, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
Yeah. And then just like, what we've talked about is like don't do not fight the sensation. Like be like, okay, this panic attack, I like I'm feeling it in my chest. And my chest is like my heart just feels like it's beating so much. And instead of fighting it, just be like, yeah, this is what a panic attack feels like. We've talked about that. And then the other do not is and this one's hard, but we're actually not supposed to have our teen avoid the situations that in their mind are like, this created my panic attack that I went to this party. We don't actually want them to avoid those situations. We want them to start getting comfortable going into those
yes.
situations so they can build that safety reassurance in their brain that like it actually wasn't this situation that created the panic. It might have been a buildup, or it might have been not processing what was going on, or allowing ourselves to feel a little scared and be like, and I'm going to go anyway. It's the processing again of emotions. And we really want to help that brain learn that you're safe even in situations that bring emotions.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because too many youth that I have personally coached have, they're not going to school. And I'm like, why are we not going to school? Well, Abby, I have a panic attack if I walk into math. And then the parents like, well, I can't make them go to school. They'd have a panic attack. And I'm like, okay, this is why we're having a problem, right?
Mhm.
Because all of us, we can all agree we got to go to school, right? And so I don't want to back away from that just because it's scary. And I'm not. first days of school, Cheree, I cried every time. I'd come home from school and just cry because that's how it's just a lot. But I love that you're saying we're not going to back away from these experiences because if so, we're lowering almost like our tolerance for
Yeah.
uncomfortability, right? And
Yeah.
so, as a parent, if your teen's like, oh my gosh, I had like this panic attack talking to this person, or when I had to take a test, don't go, okay, let's now never take a test, right? Let's
Right.
go, let's figure this out. Do you want, I don't know, what can we do, right? And you can brainstorm and come up with
Yeah.
solutions, but don't lower their ability to manage uncomfortable emotions. If anything, we need to help them go, okay, I'm so proud of you. When the stakes are even higher, how are we going to handle it? Right? Because we don't want to go into a panic attack. So, what tools can I learn? What things can I start to do so that I don't lower my ability to live life?
Exactly. And, maybe I'm going to start like school's giving me a lot of panic attacks. So maybe, my goal this week is to go for an hour. And then next week I'm going to build up to it. And then knowing that, guess what? I may have another panic attack in that. And this is what I know I'm going to do if I have a panic attack. I'm
Yeah.
just going to allow this. And these are some of the tools I just put in my tool belt. And I want to continually give my brain this reassurance that I'm safe and that I'm safe to work through it and I'm safe in this situation because a lot of panic attacks have to do with, again, our brain, our nervous system not feeling safe. But it's teaching ourselves, it's teaching our teens how to become safe in those situations. And again, it's building that safety reassurance by putting ourselves into these situations that seem scary. And even if it's just a little bit at a time and building, our brain needs the evidence that we're going to be safe in that.
Mm.
We're going to show up for us. So I hope you find this helpful, and I hope that your teens don't have panic attacks, but more than likely they do sometimes. I mean, it's just the world we live in. I feel like, as an adult, I've had panic attacks. I
Let's
never did
normalize
it.
it, right?
It's normalized. Like it's just here. And so let's learn how to navigate them and allow them and work through them and process them and let it be a clue that something's going on in our world. We have a lot of hard things and they're just going to come sometime, right?
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Teens with Cheree Murdock and Abbi Winslow. If you are looking for more tips to help your teenager, here's where you can find us. You can find Cheree Murdock on Instagram at Cheree Murdock Coaching or on her website, ChereeMurdock.com. You can find me, Abbi, on Instagram as Abbi Winslow or on my website, AbbiWinslow.com. Please rate and review our podcast and share with a fellow parent. Thanks for listening.